A couple of months ago, I got a message from a friend of mine who just graduated with a master's degree. He sent me his master's certificate and then he said, "I got a distinction. Thank you so much for the tips." I was like, huh? Which tips? And then he sent me a screenshot of a chat that we had 2 years before then when he messaged me saying, "I just started a master's degree. Can you please tell me how to go about it to make sure I graduate with a distinction?" He knows me because we were undergraduate classmates. I did graduate with a first class degree in my undergraduate, and in my master's, I got a distinction. In a PhD, they don't really care about your grade, but I did do well. I got all A's and I think I got only 2 B's in my PhD. So, and not only that, all of those degrees, I went to school on scholarship. I got my master's and my PhD in chemical engineering here in the US, all on scholarship. And then I got my bachelor degree in chemical engineering also in my home country in Nigeria, also scholarship. So yeah, how exactly did I do it? How was I studying? What are the techniques that I used that made me to always get good GPAs that got me all these scholarships? That's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys in this video. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Jane. I recently graduated with a PhD in chemical engineering and I've been sharing my journey to PhD on my channel. I told you guys about the challenges and the benefits of getting a PhD. So after that video, a lot of people were commenting saying, "Tell us, how did you study? How do you study to make all these good grades?" So that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys in this video. And the good thing is, not only have these tips worked for me, it has also worked for somebody else, because now he got his master's degree and he came back 2 years after to say thank you. So I can say my tips are tested and trusted. How did they say it? Proven. Yeah, it's proven. So let's get into it. First of all, one thing that I did that helped me was making sure I understood every topic in the course before going for the exam. So this is one mistake that a lot of people make. They tend to predict and be like, this topic will not come out, I'm going to focus on this area, I'll study this area, this will not come out, and then they will put all their energy on particular sections. As someone who has gone through all the degrees, undergraduate, master's, PhD, I can tell you that is a strategy for failure. If you want to succeed and get good grades, you have to understand all the topics in a subject before you enter the exam hall. Now, is this an easy thing to do? No, but if it were to be easy, everybody will get good grades. So if you want to stand out and get good grades, you have to understand all the topics. And how would you understand all the topics? You have to study. By study, I mean study. You have to attend classes, attend tutorials, recitations. You have to ask questions. So for me, what I always did was, I studied every topic. I would attend tutorials and learn from people. I would ask questions. Anything that I don't understand, if I hear that Mr. A or Mrs. A knows this topic, I'm meeting Mrs. A, I'm meeting Mrs. B to teach me that topic and I will understand it. I remember when I was an undergraduate in Nigeria, towards the end of my undergraduate degree, because people already knew that I was one of the best students in the class. They expected that, oh, she's one of the smartest, so these things are easy for her. No, they were not easy. I was working so hard to make sure I understood these things. I remember one day towards an exam, we had some of my classmates organize tutorials to explain some of the hard parts. And I attended the tutorial. I was sitting in front. I always sit in front. I wear prescribed glasses, so in order not to strain my eyes, I like to sit in front. So I was sitting in front, and then people were walking past and seeing me, and this girl walked past like, "Ah, Jane, even you are here." I'm like, "What do you mean even you're here?" So you think because I am Jane, I know everything. You don't know what I'm going to, maybe I've studied this topic before coming for the tutorial, but I'm pretty sure 100% I'm going to learn 1 or 2 things from these people that I do not know. And that will help me. So if I was going to get 72, I can maybe get 73 or get 75, who knows? So yeah. make sure you understand every topic before you enter an exam hall. My second tip that really helped me was reading ahead of time. I usually will start reading at the beginning of the semester. There is no day that I did not read, and this came from when I was in secondary school. I remember one of my secondary school teachers, he used to make this comment. He would say, if you leave your book for one day, your book will leave you for 3 days. So what he meant is that if you don't study often, you will forget things, and it will be harder and harder for you to understand those things. So because of that, I always just studied every single day. If you know me, even when I was on the undergraduate student, if you know me, you know that Jane studies every day. Once I'm done with classes, I'm going to my other class to go and sit down and study. I don't study in library. At least for a Nigerian, people had this thing about people that go to library. Oh, they had the bookworms. Me, I don't like library. I don't study in library. I started studying in the library here in the US because the classes were always being used, so it was just better to stay in a library. Even the library, thankfully here in the US, the library have different sections. They have the quiet zone and the general zones. I will stay in the general zone, so I do not like studying in a very quiet place. And that's another thing, you need to understand what works best for you. Some people prefer to be in a really quiet place, no distraction, no noise. But me, I like to see people around me. I like to see people doing things. The thing is that if you're sitting next to me and you're talking, you're going to distract me. But if you're in the same classroom that I am in studying, and then you are shouting, doing anything, I'll just look up, oh, he's shouting, I'll continue reading, it's not bothering me. So that will work for me. I like to see people. I don't like to be so comforted and just be looking, no library, quiet zones, you have to be so quiet. I don't like that. I like to move around. I like to just study. Every now and then, I'll take 15 minutes break. I will stand up, I will walk around, maybe take a snack and then come back. You just have to find what works for you, but you have to study ahead of time, because if you let this thing pile up and you say when it's exam time or when I have tests I'll go to study, then you have so much to study. But if you start from the beginning of the semester to study towards exam period, what I usually would just be doing is revisions. So how I used to study was I had my study notes. So for everything I read, I make little notes, more like a little summary. And because I did engineering, I had to do a lot of calculations. I would calculate them. I would just make little notes and calculations. So during exam, I'm not trying to read everything from beginning and try to understand. No, I'm looking at my notes. So instead of trying to read a whole chapter to understand, by looking at my notes, once I see those little jottings that I did, I remember what the chapter is about, and that just helped me. It made me be able to cover everything before the exam. So I go into exam hall knowing that there is nothing I did not touch. It doesn't mean that I would make all like 100%, but at least I know that I touch everything, and whatever question that comes out, I'll be able to attempt it. Even though I don't end up getting the right answers for all of them, at least I know I will attempt. There will never be a question that I will leave untouched. Another tip that helped me is that if you don't understand any topic, do not give up. A lot of people do that, this part is too hard. You see this structure of materials, and material analysis is too hard. I'm going to leave it. It's not going to come out. No, it's just no. Don't give up on any topic. Go the extra mile to make sure you understand this topic. Me, there's nothing I will not do. I will go talk to the professor. If it has a teaching assistant, I will go talk to the teaching assistant. I will discuss with my peers. I always would love us to go study, then come, let's sit down and we'll discuss. One thing about all these discussions is that, let's say the topic is about building a house, and me, I understand how to lay the foundation, but the part of putting the blocks doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how you will put the blocks and it will form the house, but I understand the foundation part. You never can tell. Maybe my friend will know how to put the blocks, maybe because they've done or they've studied something about putting blocks, so they understand that part, but they just don't get how the foundation works. By us discussing, by them talking and me talking, we are exchanging knowledge. And I'll be like, okay, so this is why you put the blocks like this is why you layer it, and they'll be like, now it makes sense how the foundation works, and we'll both go out knowing fully whether we've understood that topic. So have discussions, engage in conversation, and this is why it's very important that you know the people you talk to. I'm not talking about your friends. It must not always be your friends. Anybody. When I was in school, whoever understands the topics, anyhow, anywhere I find, I'll just be testing. Hey John, do you know how to lay this foundation? Or hey Mary, how far do you know how this works? Anybody that says yes, can we please meet and so time? I'm meeting you and we are discussing. I remember when I was an undergraduate, so at some point when everybody knew I was among the best in the class, I would still go to people. I graduated with the first class, mind you, and I got into first class in my third year. I did a 5 years program. So by the first semester of the third year, I entered first class and I maintained that till I graduated. But I knew people who were like way below me, like 2.2 or 2.1, and I still went to them to learn things. Once I heard they knew those things, I would still go to them and they would teach me. There's nothing like, oh, I am nothing. I want to learn and make sure I maintain this first class. So don't give up on any topic. Another one is make sure you attend all classes, recitations, tutorials. Now I know that this works in different ways for different people. I know people who graduated with first class and they did not attend classes. They just preferred to sit in their room and study. Once again, it also comes to you. If you know you are capable of just sitting and understanding everything on your own, you're fine. But if you know you need people to explain, you love to hear people discuss that topic, attend classes. Me, I'm the type that, yes, I will understand when I read, but I understand faster when I listen to a teaching. So because of that, and also not just that, I always had the mindset that the professor can say something that is not in that book. The way he's explaining it, he can just say something that is not in that book that might even help me in the exam hall. So I always made sure I attended all classes. I never miss a class. Never. Jane never misses any classes. It's a taboo. I'm always there. Let me grab all the knowledge. Let me yeah, that was what worked for me. Another secret tip that helped me is approaching every course with an open mind. Now, as someone who did engineering in all my degrees, and there are some courses that students are just known to fail this course. I remember when I was in school, that was my second year. So as an engineering student in your first year of engineering school, usually what you do is general science. Then when you enter the second year of engineering, that's when you start doing engineering courses. So that's usually when people fail a lot, because general science is usually some of the things you did in secondary school. So I remember when I was an undergraduate in my second year, even before entering that year, we've already heard from our seniors, oh, the second year of engineering school is the hardest. People fail a lot of people will drop out after the second year. If you do not drop out after the second year, then maybe you'll be able to graduate. So the very first class we had in this particular course that I've heard so much that people fail a lot, the professor, oh my God, Nigerian professors. This professor, our lecturer, we call them lecturer in Nigeria. This lecturer walked in the class and he was like, oh, so which department do I have here? Chemical engineering, you guys are welcome. Last year, majority of them failed this class to the point that their department had to come back and ask us what's going on, why everyone failed. Don't worry. If you guys failed in your own set, don't worry, you can always come back. I'll be here to teach you the next year. I was like, huh? How is that supposed to motivate us? But being me, immediately the lecturer said that, I turned to my best friend who was sitting next to me and I said to her, even if everybody is failing this class, we are not going to fail this class. Even if everybody is scared of this class, we are not going to fail this class. We are going to get A in this class. And I said it and I did it. How did I do it? I told myself, because of what this professor said, because he thinks that this class is so difficult, which actually it was, and everyone fails and he's okay with that, I'm going to show him that I'm not going to fail this class. Not only will I not fail this class, I will get an A in this class. So what I did was from that day, for every day of that semester, I dedicated an hour to studying that particular course. So even when I'm studying other courses, I'll get an hour, study that course, keep it and go to something else. And towards the end of the semester, I was already giving tutorials to my classmates about that class. And trust me, at the end of the day, I got an A in that class. Did a lot of students fail? Yes. Did a lot of students have to write it again? Yes, but I got an A. So, and that is not because I'm smarter than those students. Trust me, I am not the smartest person in the room, but it's because of the mindset that I have. I've always had this mindset that I can do this thing. If it's hard, I know that there are people who have done it and they got an A. And like our African parents would say, they don't have two heads. They have the same one head that I have. So because of that, I just challenge myself and I strategize and I get it done. So yeah, approach every course with an open mind. Another thing is that if you don't approach every course with an open mind, if you were in that hall when the lecturer said majority fail, and if you fail, that's okay, and you told yourself, this thing is so hard, I don't think I can do this thing, by saying that, you've already failed. Now, because for every time you open your book to study that course and there's a topic that is hard or a calculation that is hard that you're not getting, there's something in your mind that already be telling you, this thing is hard, everybody knows this thing is hard, what are you doing? You cannot do this thing, and you won't be able to do it. But if you keep telling yourself, I can do this thing, yes, this calculation I'm doing is hard, this calculation is hard, but I can figure it out, it has to be somehow, I can figure it out, and then you use all the other tips that I've been talking about to approach it, you'll get it. Trust me. Tested and trusted. Another tip that helped me was doing group study. I've talked about this a little bit. Make sure do group study, discuss with people, talk with people. Don't spend your study time talking with people who are empty-headed like yourself. If you are not understanding something, don't go and sit with people who don't understand it. And the end of the day, people are doing is lamenting. No, go to people that know it. If they say they don't have time, beg them, whatever it is, they will create time for you and study, discuss, make sure you understand these things. And then the last tip, the last secret tip, which is actually my number one tip, but I kept it for the last, is that you have to pray as if you don't study, and then study as if you don't pray. Now, a lot of people misuse these two concepts. People who are too religious, they pray. The Christians, the Muslims, they will pray. God help me, God help me, God, you have all wisdom, help me. And they won't study much. And then people who are too studious and not religious, they will study and forget to pray. But for me, in all my degrees, I combine the two. If you see me pray, you will think this girl does not study. I pray before I study. I pray after I study. I pray before I start an exam. I pray after an exam before I submit. I pray while I'm writing. Remember, I did engineering, so we're always solving problems. As I'm solving, this thing is hard. I'm talking to myself. God has given me wisdom. I can do all things. God, Holy Spirit, help me. I know you have the power to teach me everything that I need to know. Give me all the teachings I need to solve this thing. I'm praying and I'm writing. And after praying, I study. I study as if I don't pray. These are the concepts that have helped me. I hope you'll be able to practice this secret or share with people who you know need them, and they'll be able to practice and come back and give feedback, because my goal with this channel is for everyone to succeed. I want to inspire people to succeed. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have other study tips that helped you, let me know in the comment section, and look forward to my next video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.